Hello everyone, I'm going to show you how I made my low poly girl model. I'm using Blender 2.61 on a MacBook Pro. Mac users, I advise getting a USB numpad or a wireless one, easier for toggling between different views rather than manually changing views, and a mouse with a scroll would be easier for panning and zooming. And keep in mind, I'm practically basing this off of other tutorials I've learned from, so I'm a noob. Feel free to throw in feedback, it'll really help me. First, delete your cube. Now switch to View Orthographic by pressing num5. Your background image can only be viewed in that view. Press N for View Properties, and then scroll till you see Background Image, add a new one. Use any image as long as it's proportionate. Set the view for Front View. Now add the same image, but this one's for a right side view. You split the screen, set one for Front View and the other for Right View. Now afterwards, you adjust the image. Make sure you're in the front view image, not the right. And same for the other screen, as last time I checked, I wondered why my image was not moving when I tried to adjust it, and I realized I was in right view when I was supposed to be in front. But you get the idea. And make sure on the screens that you actually set the view to front or right, otherwise you won't see it. And make sure they're in orthographic. First, bring your cylinder. Keep in mind, whenever you bring up a mesh, let's see, go to add mesh cylinder, you can change the number of vertices. You have to do it first right after you add it, because if you do something like scaling or just moving, I can't change it anymore. So now undo that. So here I've changed the vertices to 8. Now scale it down by pressing S. Place it near the angle by selecting that object and pressing G. Make sure it aligns in both views. Then toggle to edit mode, select all by pressing A. Add a mirror modifier, and then you will move it. Toggle back to object mode and align the objects as best as possible. You'll end up switching from object to edit in order to get those angles aligned. Now, back into edit mode. Check your mirror modifier. The box for clipping is unmarked, so it should be checked now. This is where you'll need it. Select the top faces of the cylinder and extrude by pressing E. Feel free to move the still selected faces or vertices, and then from there you align it as you go. And continually using extrude, move, scale. The main tools you'll use are rotate, extrude, move, scale, and border select. Now, when you go into wireframe mode by pressing Z, you are able to select whatever is visible front and back. Now, compared to while in solid mode, you only get to select what is in front of you or what you see. Now, you are closer to the lower torso area. At this point, extrude again, and this time you should scale it out. Don't fatten it. You want the top to be flat, and I made a mistake there for some reason. Select only half the faces near the crotch area, go to the front view, and extrude only a bit. Go to top view and move the still selected faces toward the center to merge. Align the crotch to be flat as possible. Back to top view, select that center vertex and delete it. Same for the other faces. Select the center vertex for that one and delete it. Now select the top edge and go to select edge loop. You'll have to align or scale to fit the image. Then extrude there, scale. Don't forget to align as you go. Shrink in the hips from the front view, you move them inwards. Personally, I'm a little nitpicky about how it looks here. I try to keep it as anatomically correct as possible, but obviously it's working against me. But that's just me. Select those top edges and move them inwards. Keep them flat by rotating. And by then, you know the drill. Extrude, move, rotate, scale, etc., etc. You know what to do from here. Select vertices, move them, do whatever. I don't have to explain the entire thing. it's getting rather boring to you all probably. Now, those top edges still selected, you'll extrude again, but towards the center while you're going upwards. And I'll have to move this loop lower a bit. Now, loop cut and slide, which is Control R. Have to do this twice. Select that vertex right there, and you'll delete it. That'll cut out a hole there for your arms. You're gonna make that hole round by moving the vertices inward, kind of forming an octagon. And some of the skull is jutting out too much. That's all another problem. That's another thing. Forehead sticks out too much, so have to use edge tool for the win. Press Option M, and you're going to merge at the last point since you selected that last vertex towards the torso. Straighten those vertices out, and as soon as you're done with that, you select all the vertices in that one octagon and extrude downwards. From then on, you just continue to extrude, move, rotate, do what you need. You know the drill until you come and get an arm. For the head, we have 6 edges on this half, so add a UV sphere, change it first, segments and rings both 12. Then move it, not exactly at the center, just almost. Border select those vertices that cross the other side and delete them. Select that half of the sphere and move it to merge at the center. Now align the sphere to where you want it to be. That's going to be your head. Obviously you all know. And scale if need be. Select the faces of the lowest ring, extrude them, and then scale the edge loops. Then you delete that bottom vertex. Now merge the neck vertices to the body vertices, just like I'm doing right now. Select the faces in the lowest ring of the head and rotate along the x-axis, so R and X. That's the chin. Select a bit of the top half of the head and move it up a bit. From then on, you do the same as you did with the torso and the arms, extruding, move, scale, rotate, etc. And as you can see, there's going to be more edge loop selection here, and you'll end up rotating or scaling those, but you get the drill. The head needs to be squished down, so I'm going to select that, squish it, but there's a problem. It's sticking out like that. So you're going to edge loop that loop and try to scale it down or move it around as best as possible. Then I'm going to merge that loop and the loop above it into one manually. Same way that I did with merging the neck and the body. The eye is going to be somewhere around that area, so will the ear. So select those two vertices and you'll be selecting that edge in the same time. You're going to extrude it. As soon as you extrude it, then you can go to top view in one of the screens while the other is in side view, and you're just going to arrange it the best as you can. And of course you'll have to move some of the vertices to make it look a bit more ear-like as best as possible. For the hands, you're going to select those vertices, extrude, and that's actually the wrist, and extrude again, and you will scale it out. Now you're going to do a lot of moving around of certain edges, inward or outward, depending, until you get a relatively flat palm. With those edges selected, you're going to extrude them maybe 3 times to get the hands or the fingers. Now close it in by merging the vertices just like I'm doing so. And just continue working on that hand, refine, align vertices, do what you need. You know the drill at this point. That face you selected is going to be the thumb. Move it up a bit, then you're going to, fix that up a bit there. You're going to extrude that, move, do what you need, align it, extrude it again, and again, just align it. And just continually work on that hand. At this point, the more you practice and fiddle around and toy with this program, the more you'll get better at this whole modeling. Now we're ready to move on to the feet. You're going to select those vertices and extrude, I think twice, scale, and align the other loops as you need. And then I'm going to have to move that up and extrude again. You're going to select only those front half vertices and extrude. No, you move them. Then you extrude. And after you set that, you extrude it again. That's to make the flat part of the foot. You will close it off by merging those points. By selecting those vertices and merging them, just like I'm doing now. Now, I'm not sure what I did here. I think I merged some of the vertices to another point, or I may have undid a step because I didn't like how I arranged it. Select those 3 vertices and fill it by pressing Option F. Now I had to select that one vertex down there and extrude it. Then I merged it to that heel part. Then I selected those 3 and filled it. And I did the same for the other part that's still open. And that is practically your feet. And at that rate, you're done. Now I'm going to go to object mode, and I'm going to select a smooth shading. And you can see that she still needs some refining. So what you do is go back into object mode and just refine it. Since the mirror modifier is still intact and you haven't applied it, you can just come back in and just modify it, do what you need. Now, after that, I'm going to get out of orthographic view, and now I'm going to render an image. So I'm going to bring the hemi-lights to wherever's needed. I need to use 2 light sources here. So I'm using a hemi-light, and I'm going to use a point light just for the heck of it. I'm going to check my image in camera view by pressing numpad 0. Then when it's good, I'm going to press F12 to render, and this is what it looks like. I hope you enjoyed it, and have a good day.